Yo, what up, what up, what up? And welcome back to Appalachia Reactions. Man, listen. Actually, you know what, man? We on Pnoid News. I ain't even on Appalachia Reactions this time. The past like 5 or 6 videos I did was for the other channel. And look, come to the Discord. You can, you know what I mean, check out. I'll leave a link in the description. You know what I'm saying? If you want to go check out my stuff. You know, I'll be honest with you. Sometimes I get burnt out. Like, yo, politics will burn you out. And this is kind of where this is where we're getting to. You know what I'm saying? This is kind of what this video is kind of about in the end of the day. All right, so I was having a conversation a couple of days ago, maybe a week ago, with the one dude in my Discord, Captain Capitalism, right? Which he has. This dude's also called Captain Capitalism, but the dude in my Discord is a young kid. He's 19, he's from my neck of the woods, and he's having a hard time talking to normal people, right? And I explained to him that part of it is the fact that you're on the internet, right? You know, like when you're on the internet for so long, like you're so used to everybody being able to talk like your language and your lingo and all the stuff that goes with it, right? That when you start having conversation with normies, you start having to like condescend to them, like, you're all right, you know, like, tell me what that means, right? And because it's important that, like, when you're talking, like, you both know exactly what it is you're saying when you say it. Because when we say red pill, right, you know what I mean? Like, you know, we mean like a different thing than somebody else does. Like, somebody might be talking about the Jews, or somebody might be talking about, you know, blacks, or somebody might be talking about IQ stuff. Like, you know, with us, it might be females, or, you know, it might be whatever it is, right? So, and the original was kind of about, you know, like how government's trash and how like progressivism is kind of like the liberal fucking religion and shit, right? So, with these ideologies understood as a whole, it's important that, you know what I mean, like, we understand like why it is we have a hard time having conversations with people, but it is important that we have basic relationships with other human beings, right? That's an important thing, because like other human beings are what makes your life worth living in the end of the day. Like, because we are social creatures, you know what I'm saying? And love is important, and, you know, affection and caring and all the things that like make us people is why, like, you know, you have pets and all the other stuff, right? Because like you need that companionship. Like, even when like you're not dealing with a female, but like you still know that, like, everybody knows, like, any of TFM will admit it, you know, like, he's like, I got my dudes, my dogs, and my bro and my dolls, right? And like, it's that mentality that you have to have friends, you have to have social, you have to have like social, like, interaction with other human beings, right? And this here is, I think, the wrong way to look at it when, you know what I mean, what these guys are talking about over here, right? The idea that, oh, you're just so smart and you're never going to be able to ever be like the normies, man. It's not that difficult to get invested in shit. You know what I mean? I'm going to show you as we go through. Like, it's really easy to get invested in dumb normie shit because, like, legitimately, like, you know, dumb normies are part of the rest of the world, and they're the majority of the world. And if you cut yourself off from them when the time comes for all of us to band together, you're going to be left out in the fucking cold, regardless of how much you prepped, right? And these guys are, you know what I mean, not even like super hard preppers. They're, you know, they're fucking, you know, what is it? Man, listen, minimalist. You know what I mean? All right, but let's keep going. Let's start rocking.
We have an outstanding question, and obviously the book that will sponsor this is called Curse of the High IQ. That is linked below, and if you haven't read it, normally I'm like, you don't need it because you've tuned into me long enough. But if you tune into my show and you like this internet thing we have going on, that book is This Bud's for You. Except instead of a bud giving it to a fat guy cheering on some other man who's running around with the ball, and this bud's for you. It's like, this book is for you. And that guy drinks his Bud Light, thinks that's good beer, and you're like, oh, this book is very interesting. Now it explains a lot of things. Oh, I'm less angry now. Do you want to be less angry? You do? Get the book link below. But a very interesting question. Dear Cappy, feel free to omit the things in parentheses. You may remember me from about a year ago. I'm an advanced STEM guy from a place that paid for a one-on-one because I don't know what to do with my buyout money. You spelled that town wrong. If you want to go to the town, learn how to spell it right. Here's a philosophical question that I'd like a video response to. Think of it as a Cappy original, since I don't really need an answer, but your take would be interesting. You mentioned the normies, conformies, and inferiors many times in your videos. You also mentioned that within 4 generations, there's not much of a person's genetic makeup left in their descendants. Now, I didn't claim that. I don't know how that's true. There is some. It's whether they remember you or not. That was somebody else who claimed that, not me. I'm not a geneticist, so I don't know. Don't pin that on me. Now, this to me poses a problem for your viewpoint. Namely, if other people are the most important part of life, and if smart people are inherently transient, then aren't the normies a large part of what's most important in life? In other words, since the normies are the biggest part of society, then likely even your nieces will come out normies. Yes, that's possible.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, again, like this is kind of what we were getting into. You know what I mean? This is kind of the mentality. Like, normal people are absolutely a part of life. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep rocking them.
Shouldn't we then care about the normies just as much as we care about the enlightened people? It's something along the lines of the Christian love thy neighbor approach. I guess it's more Zen. I can still love good parts of the gal that took $150,000 out in loans. True story, while admitting that I won't stick around for her because she refuses to change her outlook. There are plenty of sheeple in the world, but that's inherently part of humanity. So we can either love it or hate it. I think you're trying to split the difference. I think trying to split the difference tends to be exhausting anyway, semi-quote. All right. Great question. And here's I guess what would be, it is what is. Here we have to practice Stoicism. I have to accept the fact that, yes, the vast majority of people are not super intelligent. The vast majority of people find things that, to me anyway, are incredibly boring. That's my opinion. I would also say they're ultimately fruitless and pointless. I would argue that's a fact, but I have to accept the fact that a very high percentage of the people, I'm just not going to be able to get along with. However, where you say, oh, okay, well, it is what it is, so you have to accept it. You're right, I do. But here's the other thing. You also have to accept that, yeah, you could get, like, okay, I get along with my nieces. They're little 5 and 7-year-olds now. And even when they were younger, obviously they weren't smart. We're not talking, philosophy or economics or nuclear physics. But I appreciate them for what they were, kind of like a dog. I got the world's dumbest dog out there, and I very much thoroughly enjoy the dog. But those little girls, that dog, whatever, does not have the intelligence required for me to engage in at a level that I would argue I not only would like, but I need. If I'm going to have a long-term, mutually beneficial and ultimately committed relationship, it could be with a loved one, like a woman, or it could just be like friends, real compatriots, real pals. I can't force myself to get to their standard of intelligence and still have that bond that I'm looking for. That, in my opinion, makes life worth living. Because I love my nieces to death, don't get me wrong, but going to the blue and green park gets a little boring. Can we go?
Well, like, all right, see, and this is the part of it where, like, it's when you compare, like, regular people to children, and, like, we do that with females, and you have to understand, like, females, are children. Like, you have 2 choices in females when it comes down to it. It's either they're dumb and they're docile and they're, like, good life partners. You know what I'm saying? They're individuals who are going to hold down a house and take care of the kids and do everything you're supposed to do and not ask for much. Or B, you know what I mean? Like, they're intelligent and they're wild, right? And they're a pain in the ass and they're constantly bored, and you have to constantly give them shit to do to keep them busy, right? But, like, you have to compartmentalize your life, right? It's important that, like, your female's here, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, your buddies are here, your work is here, your kids are here, right? And you don't fucking mix the boxes. Each one of them are their own thing, because, like, legitimately, there's going to be things you do with your friends that you can't do with your girl. There's going to be things you do with your kids you can't do with your friends, right? There's going to be things that you do, you know what I'm saying, with your girl that you can't do with your kids. Like, everything is, like, your life is about compartmentalizing shit. And if you want a good conversation, you have friends or you have the internet. And that's what fulfills that in the end of the day, right? You have to have that. That's the part of that fills that. It's not for your female to be. If you want a female who's going to give you good conversation and hang out and bullshit with you, you know what I mean, and like play games and do all these type of things, you might be gay, right? You might want a dude in the end of the day. Like you're looking at the wrong gender for that one. You know what I mean? Like, you're not looking at this situation right, because that's not what a female's there to do. Legit, it's not. She's not you. Like, you bought into the equality bullshit way too much. Let's keep rocking though.
All right, let's go to they like Snuffies. That's kind of a malt shop out there. They like going there, but I don't want to eat at Snuffies all the time. And you can only handle them for so long. I can only play evil Uncle Aaron. It's a game where I'm the evil Uncle Aaron, and I attack them and we fight, and I steal their dolls, and they got to come rescue Batman and Barbie and Ken and all that. So, and it's fun, but I will never live a fulfilled life doing just that. I love the dog. I really enjoy Heiko. That dog is great, but I will not have an intellectual equal, a colleague, a companion, a comrade, or a lover, if they are not smart enough. So there is no animosity to the normies. And yes, I do accept they're there. And yeah, you can have fun. Like I went to an Aerosmith concert. I had a blast. It was a good old time. Obviously, very normal people going to a large concert and performance. But I had my fill, and that was enough. Back in the swing dance craze, that was a fad. It was very normy. But I really enjoyed it. I'm trying to think of what else. I enjoy roller coaster rides just as much as the next person. I enjoy cartoons. But it does not give me purpose, value, and meaning in life if I do not have intelligent conversation. I did a video, actually it was a speech for Carrie Lutz a long time ago, about how as humans are the only important thing in life, the number one thing, the currency by which we transact our value and get value from one another is through conversation. Yeah, and tell me this, have you ever been in a painfully boring conversation? You have, and so you can see, okay, they're normie, but yeah, you man cannot live on bread alone. Yes, I guess you could survive, but it's not.
Okay, so like here's what I told my boy, right? You know what I mean? Legit. I said, look, and this is a hack for everybody on this channel who's looking to, like, you know what I mean, climb up, become like management, or if you want to, like, you know, move up the food chain at your job, or if you want to get closer to your bosses or coworkers, whatever it is, right? Learn sports, right? And like everybody goes, oh, it's sports ball. You fucking nerds. I hate nerds so fucking much. Listen, okay. I played sports when I was a kid, right? You know what I mean? Like everybody, like in my neighborhood, we all played sports. And playing baseball, we played football, basketball, right? We didn't play soccer because that was for faggots, right? But, and Europeans, you know what I mean? Which kind of synonymous with one another. But like, we stood here and we, played sports as kids. And then so like when we got older, we were still interested in sports because like when you understand sports, from playing them on a field, you are more able to get into the game because like you understand like the fundamentals of it, right? You understand like how difficult these tasks really are that they're asking these dudes to do. Getting hit by a 200-pound dude, running full trot and not seeing him it's insane. It's the craziest shit ever. You just get fucking wrecked. I got ran over a bunch of times. Like, it happens. But it's the same way on the other hand where like, you run through a dude and you go and you get that sack on a quarterback. It's amazing. It's the best shit ever. You know what I mean? And I remember coming home covered in bruises and shit. And like, you dedicated a part of your life to that type of thing. And these are formative things in your life. But there's hacks to make you more interested in sports when you're not. And you go, oh, woke ball, man. Like they're over here, kneeling on the flag and all this type of nonsense or whatever it is, right? But this mentality of, like, I hate this because of like the politics in it or whatever it is, right? you have to understand that, yes, like the average sports viewer, you know what I mean, hates it too. Like we all hate, you know what I mean, like the breast cancer awareness nonsense. But once you understand like why they're doing it, number one, because like females spend a shit ton of money. So they're trying, like, even if they attract a small amount of female audience to be able to watch this game, you have to understand that, like, it generates a shit ton of revenue for that sport, right? And that's why they're doing it, right? You know what I mean? I understand, like, oh, it's a man's space, and like we want to be men, and like I got it, but there's hacks, right? Legit, there's hacks to keep you interested. Bet on it. That's number one. Gamble, right? Legit, like you gamble on the game. You know what I mean? It makes the game more interesting to you, right? It makes you more invested in shit, right? You know, and I'm not even talking about like, you know, put like fucking $1,000 on. Don't do that. You know, $5-10 here and there. You know what I mean? Like, and legit, like you become more interesting and you learn more about the game, and you're able to talk to your coworkers around the thing. And once you start like having to break down the numbers and learn the players' names and go through all the positions and all these type of things, right? It really ends up on the level of where, you know what I mean, like it becomes intellectually challenging, and you become invested in it. It becomes something you're invested in, it becomes something you're interested in, and it becomes much more fulfilling at that point. These are hacks to life, right? These are hacks to be able to keep you on a level of where you're still socializing with other human beings, right? And this is why these guys here, legit, they just write it off because they're like, oh man, fucking sports bar, yeah, I'm cheering for some other dude, fucking, yeah, got some guy's name on. I'm like, shut up. Jesus fucking Christ. Get so tired of these fucking dumb fucks. Like, Jesus. Look, you're allowed to admire individuals who are better than everybody else in the world at what they do. Literally, you're allowed. It's okay. Whatever you're in, that's like, yo, whatever field you're in, if you're a welder, you know what I'm saying? You want to be the best welder in the world. If you're a rocket scientist, you want to, you know what I mean, stand here and, you know, be like the Nazis, like, you know, back in the day, who built the V2 rocket. You know, I forget his name, Werner von Braun, right? Whatever his name was, right? If you're a physicist, you know what I'm saying? You want to be as intelligent as, you know what I mean, like Albert Einstein or, man, listen, I forget the dude's name. It'll come to me as I'm talking. I know it will, right? But like, you want to stand here and be the best at what you do. If you're a like, yo, Joe Biden wanted to be, you know what I mean, FDR, who is the greatest Democratic president in their eyes. Everybody feels this way. You're striving for that position. You're striving to be that great at what you do, right? And this is kind of the mental when it comes down to it, right? This is what this is for. And so this mentality of hating individuals for going like, yo, man, like I wish I could have been that dude one time in my life. You know what I mean? Like, I would love to like sit there under the bright lights with everybody cheering my fucking name. Everybody wants to be that person. And if you don't, you're not a fucking man. Like, legitimately. Like, everybody has that dream of being a fucking superhero. Of being a man among men. Right? Like, yo, of being, you know what I mean? Like, the fucking king of the whatever it is that you do. The guy who everybody looks up to. Everybody has that mental in them. And you're supposed to. Legitimately, you're so fucking supposed to. Let's keep rocking though.
Out of life, it's misery. And here's the where I kind of make the line where I can only appreciate the normies, conformies, and inferiors up to this point, to the point that I know what they're going to do, to the point I can figure them out. Because then at that point, they cease to be infinite. They cease to be human beings to me at that point in time. It'll cease to be human beings. Like the girl, okay, here's a perfect example. Girl major in liberal arts, $150,000 a day. You literally don't have to tell me anymore. She's a known quantity. She's as exciting as this microphone stand. All right? It's a known, there's not much else to it. You could finish your sentences.
But how good's her pussy? Ain't that really the question? How good's the head game? You're measuring the wrong part. Legit. That's like getting in a car and going, man, what's the door trim like? Gives a fuck. Does it go forward? That might be the important part. Does the brakes work? That might be the part that you want to measure. Like, yo, why are you measuring them by their brain? Why? That's not the part you're interested in. Like, the fuck is wrong with people?
You know, her thoughts, well, that fell off. How intellectually stimulated can you get? How rewarding and rich can your life be? And in this regard, I'm absolutely jealous of the normies, conformies, and inferiors. They get excited about a game. They get excited about socialism and an ideology, a religion of stealing other people's money. They get excited about, I don't know, The Bachelor. They get excited about television. And that's kind of one.
They get excited. Yo, look, all right? Life is fucking boring. Once you're comfortable and you're stashing and you're doing all the shit you're supposed to do, right? Life gets boring. It just does. There's a lot of time to fill, right? There's like that's why being married's so hard, right? Like Doug Stanhope said this. He said, like, yo, boredom is a disease worse than death. Yo, legit, right? Like that's the problem, right? It's like, yo, life is fucking boring. People get bored. This is some real shit, right? And when human beings get bored, you know what I mean? Like, yo, they end up fucking filling it with nonsense. That's why, like, television's a huge thing, and the internet and your phone, right? Because you have a lot of time to not do shit. Some of us fill it with books and learning and being intellectual, right? But the thing is like, the more you do that, the further you're going to get away from the other individuals around you, right? And that's a problem. That's an issue upon itself. These are things that, like, we're not having these conversations about, right? In the end of the day. And I think it's important that we have these conversations and understand that, like, the more you build your intellect, the further you're moving away from the rest of the population. And so you need to have something to link you back to the rest of the population. Whether that be kids, whether that be, you know what I'm saying, like politics, whether that be, you know, fucking sports, whether that be popular entertainment. You have to have something that you can talk to the regular individuals about. Like, I'll be honest, like, I hop on Discord a lot of times and they start talking that fucking anime fucking weirdo shit, and I'm fucking like, yo, I don't want to hear this at all. And these are smart dudes. These aren't dumb motherfuckers. A dude paid me to watch 40K the other week. And by the way, fuck you for doing that. You know who the fuck you are, right? But, like, legitimately, like, I fucking hate nerd shit with a passion, right? Because I'm not a fucking nerd. I didn't grow up with these type of things at all. Like, I'm not interested in them. Like, I don't get excited about fucking anime and fucking waifus and fucking anime titties. Like, there's a lot of titties out here in real life that, you know what I mean, beg me to come fuck them on a regular basis. Like, let's keep going. Let's keep going.
One of the main premises of the book is, like, all the world is made for normal, boring people. All right. So I wish I could go to a nightclub and, like, get drunk, hit on girls, have a girl. No, going to nightclubs were painful for me. And you can either resist that and say, well, I'll try and adjust it, or you can accept that it's going to be painful for you and you don't do it. And so, yes, I'm trying to think of other normal things that I enjoy. There isn't a lot, but I'm sure there is some things I enjoy seeing, like feeding ducks. Okay, who doesn't like to feed ducks?
Like, I love to go fishing and, right, go shoot guns and, you know, put the boat in the water and get out in the water and, you know, explore and take the kids out and watch their fucking expressions as we, you know, they're smiling as we go across in the motherfucking river in the sunlight in a summer day. It's fucking heaven. That's fucking heaven, right? Like, yo, you can create heaven on earth, quite literally, It don't take much. It don't take much. Right? And like, yo, there's tons of parts of life that you can do that are just thoroughly enjoyable. It might cost you a couple of bucks here and there. Right? Fishing is not an expensive hobby. It's not. Watching football, I mean, I'll be honest, it's been expensive this year because, like, you know, I don't have fucking cable, right? So, like, I had to pay, like, $60 to watch the goddamn playoffs on fucking YouTube TV. But you know what? I'm with it because, like, I love my my Niners went the whole way to the NFC Championship, right? Like, yo, again, some simple shit makes life cool for me. And I'm out here yelling at the TV and my kids looking at me like I'm ridiculous. But I'll be honest, I love my motherfucking shit. It's what I do. Right? And you can find females who love doing these type of things too. My girl loves coming fishing with me. Right? My kids love coming fishing with me. My son, like, yo, he's 19. You know what I mean? Like, legit, he talks about going fishing all the goddamn time. Like, it was one of the few things in life that you can take with you forever. And it just, there are plenty of parts of life that still can attach you to other fucking human beings. Anyway, yo, look, man, this is getting to be like a half hour. Like, I feel like this is long enough. Y'all know what it is. Like, share, and subscribe, man. Yo, fuck, hit that, hit the links in the description. You know what it's hitting for. Peace.